What's up you guys, Luke here and welcome to another Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Best and Worst Guns gameplay. Now as you may have realised in the previous video I did Scar H. If you have not checked that video out, I definitely advise you check that out because this is basically where this leads on from. But basically, as you might have realised in that video, to cut a long story short, I wasn't too happy with the gun. I kind of felt that the gun was quite annoying. It was one of these guns where it had quite high damage but also had quite a high rate of fire, which kind of made it quite recoil prone gun and quite not very the best at long range kind of shooting. Now basically the answer to that gun I found is in this gun, the HAMR or HAMR as I'm going to basically call it from now on. But you know, be thinking, yeah, I know about this gun. This gun's been in Call of Duty since the day it was basically made from Black Ops 2, and it's basically the Scar H's very powerful brother. Now basically, as you may have realised, that Black Ops 2 has actually gone through many facelifts, and well, not facelifts, but the guns have gone through many different kind of updates and stuff to make the guns more balanced and stuff. And there's been some winners, been some losers, and one of the biggest winners I've realised is this gun. Now, as you can see here, it's actually probably one of the best gameplays I've ever actually produced for you, and it was actually on the first time of recording this gun. I've not used this gun before, and I thought might as well use it. Well, I have used it before because it was obviously a level 11 gun, but I've basically used it on previous basically prestiges and stuff, but I've not used it for a very long time. And this gun is actually quite surprising, basically just because of the way it handles. The actual rate of fire is phenomenal. It literally will probably fire anything from 900 to 1,000 actual rounds per second on its first couple of bullets. And the way it does this is basically the first 10 to 15 bullets that exit the gun is probably a really high rate of fire, and then the following up bullets are quite slow. It slows the gun down, the rate of fire goes down, and for that reason it reduces the recoil of the gun at longer range. And for this reason, actually, as you can see there on the best, oh, I hit the microphone there, I apologise, but that's one of the best examples there as I fired that gun there. As you can see that the actual gun is really good for short to medium range kills, and that's one of the probably the problems for the Scar H. And also long range is going to be much better as the actual recoil gets reduced as you fire on for longer, so actually burst fire would not become such an issue, as definitely one of the things you had to do with the Scar H. Also, the gun is an LMG obviously, so that means it has much more damage compared to the assault rifles and has much longer range. So on these kind of shorter maps, you'd kind of expect the Scar H to do better, but I personally find this gun, because it's high rate of fire, it can actually probably match, and this is not like, it can probably match in rate of fire to some of the other guns like the MP7 and the actual Scorpion's Evolution. Now that gun is probably the most highest rate of fire gun. It's probably probably the most highest rate of fire of all the Call of Duties ever made. But this gun could probably rival it just in damage and just in the actual way you can get quite good short range kills. As you can see, I'm just basically picking off enemies. It only takes about 5 bullets to kill an enemy, even if it's about 20 meters or probably about 60 foot away, depending on where you're from. But the actual gun is surprisingly good, and as you'll probably see later on, the actual the end result, I should say, is pretty much stands for itself really. As you may know, I'm not the best Call of Duty. Basically, I'm not really good at Call of Duty. I can play it. My kill death ratio is probably only about 1.3, 1.4 at the moment. But this gun is definitely advisable for anyone who basically likes getting good kills, but is probably not that confident in using the more professional guns. Like, mainly if you use the Scorpions, they're good at close range maps like this one, but if you get to a slightly further range map, you probably have to swap to something like the AA-94, which of course has been recently reduced in the actual damage and have increased the recoil and things like that. So probably the best all-round gun I could advise you for someone who's not that confident using guns. They've not bought the map pack, because of course my personal favourite gun is the Peacekeeper SMG, but that of course is a map pack DLC gun, so if you haven't got that, this gun is probably a very close second best. Just because the actual rate of fire is probably phenomenal, as I keep saying that this gun you can use even if you're really new to Black Ops 2, even if you're new to Call of Duty, even if you're new to the whole genre of FPSs, this gun is basically a good introduction, as it is easily adaptable to almost every map. As long as you actually know how to burst fire in this gun, you could probably get a good 100 meter, 300 foot kill, and that is quite good for a gun with this the actual amount of rate of fire and stuff. So as you can see here, basically this gun is not really a running gun kind of gun. It's more of a, you keep a nice slow profile, you kind of move around the map, try to pick off enemies from medium to long range distance. It doesn't really matter, even if you get close range, because the actual high rate of fire from the first 10 to 15 bullets could easily get you a good couple of kills. But the actual gun is pretty much almost exactly the same body as such as the actual Scar H, and people kind of thought that Scar H is much better than this gun, but I personally, especially after the more recent Call of Duty Black Ops 2 updates, that this gun is definitely a good gun, just as it kind of has that feel, it kind of has that ability, and the actual, just the way it feels, you know? It's one of these guns which is really hard to explain, but hopefully these pictures and the actual gameplay gives you a good example of that you only need. Especially with the magazine, that's probably another good thing about this gun. It has 75 bullets, in fact, in a magazine, where the Scar H only has 30. As you can see there, we absolutely dominated the other team. This gun is amazing, as you can see there. I'm going to show you how many kills to death ratio I got there. Also got the final kill cam, final kill cam, in fact, will show you actually how good the gun really is. A couple of hits, 3 hits, 4 hits, 5 hits, and then I got 6 bullets, and it killed him. The rate of fire is definitely good. As you can see, I've got so many kills, only 6 deaths. My kill death ratio is much higher than 4, which I rarely ever get in a Call of Duty Black Ops 2 gameplay. But hopefully you've enjoyed this one. Hopefully this has basically answered some questions you may have had. Until next time, you guys, I've been Luke, and goodbye.